Luke, I am your father.
Slimy, yet satisfying.
There's a snake in my boot.
Let it go! Let it go!
Oh, Topanga.
I see you.
DuckTales.
Woo! I wanna be where the people are.
Oh gosh.
The Great Bambino?
I am the tower that flaps in the night.
Amazing cosmic power.
Itty bitty living space. Disney Plus. First impressions. Yes, talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome to Nerd News with this bearded fellow Chris Chavez. So Disney Plus is out and it has a bunch of new and old content that is frankly amazing. Now there are a lot of movies and TV shows on here that you grew up watching, but you forgot about once you got older. So I am here to inform you about all these things. That way, if you're on the fence as to whether or not you should subscribe to this, let me help you with that. Now, before we begin, if this is your first time here, I would greatly appreciate it if you selected that subscribe button and clicked on the really cute notification bell, and that'll notify you of all future episodes. Your likes on these videos, it just helps me create a better show for y'all. So, Disney Plus. I won't do that again. Now, in my last video, I did talk about Disney Plus versus Apple TV Plus, the differences between the two, the price points between the two, and pretty much just let you know, hey, these two services are out. Which one do you want? Or do you just want both? And you, from this video, you could tell which one I chose off the bat. I mean, the intro didn't give anything away, did it? But once I, did the whole subscription, my credit card, my name, all that stuff, I got to choose my avatar. And you have a list of all the Disney characters that you can select as your avatar. And of course, I chose Spider-Man because, Peter Parker. I mean, it's a given. Now, I know right off the bat, though, going into Disney Plus, that Marvel and Star Wars had a really heavy presence in this streaming service. I mean, with a ton of funding going towards all the Marvel shows and The Mandalorian, which I'm going to do an episode very, very shortly about The Mandalorian episode 1 and 2, because the show is frankly fantastic. Oh, it's fantastic. But there are little gems just sprawled around Disney Plus. So let's begin and let's talk about first impressions of this service. So let's begin with how it looks. Let's talk about the UI, shall we? Now, it's pretty much set up similar to a lot of the streaming services that you're used to. How Netflix and HBO, Hulu, they're all laid out pretty much the exact same. So if you've used one, you kind of will be fine with this. Now, you also have at the top of the screen a carousel of the posters for all the shows and movies that are new. Then below that, you have all these little call to action buttons. And those buttons are Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, and Pixar. And of course, when you click on them, it shows the respected content within those categories, and there's a lot to choose from just by that. Now, as you scroll down the page, you start to do an inner monologue, or you start to just talk to yourself, saying things like, "What? That's on here?" And of course, my favorite, Yep, I'm watching that. I am watching that. Now, you're slightly overwhelmed with this nostalgic of all the shows that you grew up with. You almost feel like an ADD kid in a room full of buttons, and they all say press. Which one do you press first? What do you do? Now, I'm not sure what year you were born, but there are shows and movies on here that date way back when. So there are plenty of options for whatever age range you are. Now, Disney, of course, like I mentioned in my previous video, and you guys probably already know this, Disney has purchased the rights to just about everything. So there are a ton of shows that are already on here from day one launch. And a perfect example of that is The Simpsons. Now, The Simpsons has been on forever. It started on the Tracy Ullman Show, and right now it's on 30 seasons. So all 30 seasons are on Disney Plus. So that's a lot right there. Now the shows and the movies are also broken down in their own categories, so you can select what it is that you want. They haven't broken down as such. Originals, recommended, hit movies, trending, out of the vault, you know, the Disney classics like Dumbo, Pinocchio, those kind of films. Inspired by true events, Ultra HD and HDR movies, Disney Channel favorites, throwbacks, and more. Whew. So one thing that's kind of neat, when you select a movie or TV show, it gives you a synopsis of, you know, what you selected. This is the story of blah, blah, blah. And then it has extras and suggestions. The cool thing about that, when you go to suggestions, there are other, like, it's almost like a little rabbit hole. You'll find other things on here. That's why I found Chippendales Rescue Rangers. I was like, oh my God, that's on here. And you also have a really neat thing where, you know, if you're watching something and for example, I was watching Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck is on here. Yeah. And in my mind, I went, man, this is such a good show. I forgot when this originally came out. Well, above the synopsis, it says the date it came out from when it started till when the show ended. That's kind of cool. And for me, I got really excited when I saw the 90s X-Men animated series. As a kid, I used to wake up every morning and videotape. That's right, I put in my VHS tape, hit record, and record that show every Saturday morning. And if you don't know what a VHS tape is, well, ask your parents. But all 5 seasons of the animated series of the X-Men is on there. And I suggest you watch it because it's better than the movies. Trust me, they got that show perfect. Now they also have a lot of their original shows like The Mandalorian. Oh, it's such a good show! They have it set up how HBO does. So you know when you watched Game of Thrones, I'm assuming you watched it. If not, you missed the bus on that. Come on. You would watch one episode and then you would wait a week for the next episode. That's what they're doing with their original shows, which I think is fantastic. I mean, you develop a relationship with the characters, and then the show ends, and the episode ends, and you have a week to talk about it with friends, and or do videos like this, and you can kind of have your own conclusions and your own, guesses as to what's going to happen next week, and it's just a fun thing to not binge watch. And that's one thing that Disney was trying to prevent in this. They were trying to prevent people from binge watching, which is great. I mean, there still are shows that you can binge watch. Like how I said, the X-Men, all of them are on there. I can just watch them. But the original content is set up that way where you have some time in between, and it's fantastic. And I think they should do that with all of the original. I think everyone should do that with the original content. It's almost like that feeling when you went to Blockbuster. Yeah, that's right. I know you haven't heard that in a sentence since like 1999, but whatever. It was just a treat to go to Blockbuster and to pick out a movie, and then just that waiting period of like, hey, Friday, we're gonna go to Blockbuster. You want to come over and watch a movie? It was just a fun treat, and that's what it's like with the original series on Disney Plus. I promised I wouldn't do that again, and I did it. I can't help myself. I'm fidgety. Now, one of the cons about this, Disney Plus did come out, 2-3 days ago, so it's still fresh. There are some connectivity issues with the service, essentially. Now, some people are kind of getting angry that the service is dropping connection. So they'll boot up Disney Plus you'll see Wreck-It Ralph holding the Wi-Fi symbol, which is kind of cute. And you have an error message and a retry button. And if you hit retry, it rebuffers, and then it does the same thing. If it worked, you'll see Wreck-It Ralph. The app is also having the same issue. But it is a streaming service. It is like 2 or 3 days old. I expect bugs. It's not perfect. It's going to happen. I have issues with Netflix once in a while with it not even opening. So, I mean, expect that for any new service or system or application. It just happens, guys. Come on. But Disney Plus is available on everything, essentially. Your PlayStation Network, Xbox Network, iOS devices, Android devices. You just go to their website. So you can pull it up pretty much anywhere you could download an application. Disney Plus is there just waiting for you, and Mickey's there with some popcorn, and gee golly, just get in there. So I hope that gives you just a small little insight into Disney Plus and what's there, and there's just a lot to talk about. I mean, we could spend a whole hour just talking about the content and the episodes, but I hope it helps just to give you a little glimpse as to, like, should I download this or not? And if you like this episode, guys, check out my social media accounts. I post daily on there. Just depending on what's going on in the entertainment world, I'll post it up so you guys will know what's going on. And thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, guys, remember, Disney Plus is the happiest place on the internet.